Hakuna Matata. It's Wednesday, August 7th. And we're back at the bus working on the inside because it's still so darn wet outside. We really just can't do any more work on the windows. Anyway, so we're stripping the wiring. I finished this side, and this is what I pulled out. And that, and this hose, but it's going back in. So all that's left is these three lights, which is cool. I took a few minutes when I got started, and I put some electrical tape on the holes where the license plate goes on both sides. So that'll be sealed off for the next rain, and hopefully we won't have any false indication of leaks. Pretty sure that this light is leaking. What else? Okay, so here's how I'm doing this. This was wrapped in electrical tape like that. So what I've been doing is I've got a razor blade, and whenever I need to, I lightly cut the electrical tape like halfway through and try to do it. Here, I'll show you. I mean, this is simple, basic stuff, but if you've never done it. So what I try to do is cut it like between wires. All right, I think I went all the way through that time. But that's okay, because I'm not cutting the insulation. And then, this is not a good place to show you, but once I get the tape scored or cut through, I yank on a wire, and it'll then break the tape at that spot. There it is right there. It's just cut all the way through, but I can't because it's such a tight little. And the other thing I'm doing too is I'm just yanking these things out wherever I can. So here's the spot where the tape was cut. So once you get started, right, it'll come off of there real easy. Just peel it. And whenever you get to a spot that's got one of these things, I gotta cut it again on the back because there's extra tape on it. There's a wad of something here. I don't know what that is. Might just be a wadded up wire because it was too long. That's what it looks like. That's normal to see that kind of shit in your wiring harnesses. Because, you know, it's got to lay. Alright, so that's what we're doing. First we unwrap it. Yesterday when I was working up there, I tried really hard to pull the wires out from the power side of the wire. So the plug would still be on the end, which, you know, gives me options to easily use this wire for something else if I need to. I probably never will, but, you know, you kind of just make decisions as you're going along. On this side, there's just like no way to do that because I don't know which one of these wires is at the other end. If I knew that, which, I mean, there's ways to do it, but I don't want to work that hard. If I knew which wires they were, I would just cut them in the clear at that end and then pull them through this way. That would be easier. But that being the case, on these, I just cut it right there, cutting one wire at a time, just in case there's power on any of them. You don't create a short and blow a fuse or damage your cutting pliers. So, but like I say, I've gone through this side. I mean, look at how, you know, much of a smaller bundle this is. I could just put a little piece of loom over that and be done. There's a wire for my marker light that's right behind here. And then there's the three marker lights here, they stay. That's what these wires are for, those three marker lights. It's pretty cool how they built this bus. There's a power and ground for everything. So there's three lights, three grounds, and three power wires. And that's why the wiring harness on this thing is such a beast. Because there's so much, I guess you can call it duplication. I mean, if anyone was doing this, they would have like one wire come back here for all the taillights. and one wire come back here for all the marker lights, right? But you know, this is actually a pretty good quality method how they're doing this. Ground wire for everything, and then you can have minimal voltage drop. Oh yeah, where was that one spot? I got right here. They did a little gang of ground wires right here, and that's why I actually am holding the phone right now, because I went and walked to the front of the bus to get my electrical tape. Then I thought, well, let me take a video. So I cut two little wires out of here, or I cut them off right there, if you can see. That's those two white ones. They're ground wires, and they probably go to right there where all the rest of these grounds are. Which, by the way, I remember these were loose. One of them was wiggling, and I had retightened them. Loose grounds can cause you all kinds of weird stuff. Make lights come on that are not supposed to be on. Alright, so there's a sharp piece of metal there. Alright, so I'm just going to put some electrical tape over this just because I can, and then I'm going to continue unwrapping this, taking out, there's two of these in here that have to come out for the two blinking lights, the amber one and then the red one. I don't know, it's down in there somewhere. Alright. This one stays, that's for my marker light, and all the rest of them come out. So, you know, this is going to be half the size here, right? And, well, actually, the stuff that's coming from the left is going into this, and here I mistakenly just made mention, these wires are going up. So this will be half the size only because those have been removed. Okay, and then once I get to this point, I'll feel a lot more comfortable with what I'm doing, because this is just kind of hard to reach my arms up in there. And I can actually make some better progress here, because this is going to be really easy to work with. So that's what's going on. If I come across anything really interesting, I'll share it with you. Alright, so here's some live action video. Alright, I need to pull this brown wire out around that corner, and I need to pull it through that way, and it's one of these. So what I do is I'm just going to pull this wire till I see it on this side tighten up. And there it is. Okay, do another one. Alright, so here's a blue one. And there it is, the straight one right there. You know, now that I've gotten past this back part here, it's conceivable that I might be able to pull these wires out of this one at a time without even unwrapping. I'm going to give that a try. Let's see what else we got. Here's a white one. There it is. Right there. You know, technically I could have just left all these wires in there and just bored over them. And probably most people would have just done that, but I want to be extra, go the extra mile here, so there's no chances of some rogue short circuit wire inside of a wall somewhere that it's really an unused wire and it's causing me to have headaches. And also, removing all these wires simplifies working on this if I ever need to figure out which wire is which for some reason. Hey, you know, vehicles break down, right? Alright, there it is. Right there. You know, this probably seems quite daunting to people that are not accustomed to doing this kind of work, but it's actually very simple, man. One wire at a time, right? We're just taking them out. I've actually rewired complete vehicles before. So here's 2 wires. And I'm going to cut these just to simplify my life. These are blinking, the red warning lights. I call them blinky lights. 1, 2. And this I discovered was an optional wire. It's got a tag on there. It's like passenger convenience or something. It's an extra circuit that was not used. Do I really want to cut that out? I wonder if I could use that for something. Running it off the chassis battery. I don't know. Maybe a rear camera. I think I'll leave that one in place. There's a lot of extras back here. This is the warning light wire for this is the red. We cut the yellow one out a minute ago. I'm going to cut that too. All right, like I said before, I cut them one at a time. I guess technically I probably should have disconnected the battery before doing this, just so it wouldn't hurt anything. But I've done so much of this stuff. I'm comfortable working with energized wires. Alright, where's that one? There's 2, okay. So now everything's out except for these convenience, what do they call it? I almost can't read this. Accessory. Where'd it go? Something, passenger accessory. It's a ground and a hot. I'm going to leave those and pull the rest out one by one. Okay, gotta call it quits. The mosquitoes are freaking killing me out here. So I got out all that. So this side is clean. Just needs a wire loom put in. It's clean all the way across the top. Again, just needs a wire loom or 2. Here's a wire. You know, all those wires on the left side are here. I just now remembered I forgot to tape that up. Doesn't really matter, it's a ground anyway. I'm going to do that. Actually, I should do that before I call it quits for tonight. And I got everything out of here that needs to be out of this mess. Leaving these 2 accessories in there for something. Let's see, what else? I cut some grounds off of this bunch. So all the lights back here have a common ground wire. Somewhere in the mix of doing all this stuff, I don't know how I did it, but I pulled out my license tag power wires. So I'm gonna have to do some troubleshooting. It's gonna be one of these frickin' things. But I'm not worried about it. I'll be able to find it easily enough. It'll be one of the long ones. Oh dang, yeah, I cut the ground wire for it already. It was one of these, so I'll have to add a ground wire back. No biggie. We got them all pulled out of here, and all the wires we don't need are here. Now, one thing I did on this bunch of 3 wires, there was a ground wire that went with it. I tied a knot, because I want to label these. I'm not going to do it tonight, but these 3 wires went to my rear door switch that was right there, and there were 2 things that I remembered that thing did. It made a beeper go off up front. I think it made my lights, my backup lights would come on. Actually, I learned by happenstance that all this stuff does what it does when water dripped in the switch, and the backup lights came on just from water being in the switch. And all it is just a simple little circuit, but these are input circuits to the computer, so it takes hardly any current flow at all to make something turn on. Which that's one of the things I don't like about this multiplexing stuff. It's pretty sensitive. But anyway, I'm going to, dang these mosquitoes. Call it quits for a night and resume on another day.